This will be an eventful night at Collingwood, for Julia Hoffman has learned more about the menace that threatens the Collins family. And on this night, she will finally find out the secret of what happened in the year 1897 and how Barnabas Collins became the unwilling pawn of a mysterious and evil people.
Barnabas, I've got to talk to you immediately.
I'm sorry, Julia, but I'm tired.
No, Barnabas, you will not put me off this time. This time you will tell me what I need to know.
I will not. No, I've told you not to become involved, Julia.
I am more deeply involved now than I've ever been before.
What do you mean?
Barnabas, I just opened Michael Hackett's grave. The coffin is empty. Does that mean anything to you?
Nothing.
I'll tell you what it means to me, Barnabas. 2 weeks ago, I pronounced that child dead. There was no doubt in my mind that he was dead. But for some reason, his death had to be faked. I don't know how it was faked, but I do know why it was faked, Barnabas. Barnabas, I know so much about your secret now that you'd better tell me everything.
All right, Julia. I will tell you the whole story. There are reasons why we can't talk here. We'll go back to the old house.
Tell me what happened.
Well, it began on my final night in the past. I've already told you about the fire in Charles Tate's studio. Petofi had been pursued there the night before by some demon of his own creation. I went there hoping to find Quentin Collins' portrait. Instead, I found evidence that led me to believe that Petofi might have perished in the fire. It was hard to believe that his glasses were all that was left of him. Then I suddenly realized I was not alone.
You did it, Charles. Yes, all of you with your schemes and your plots. You destroyed my studio and destroyed my work.
Charles, I'm sorry.
Go on. Get out of here. Get out of here! Or I'll kill you, I swear I'll kill you.
I cannot go until I find out whether Petofi is dead or alive.
Petofi? What about Petofi?
As far as I can tell, he and Garth Blackwood were in this fire when it started. But I've also evidence that they died in this fire. But I also found these glasses outside the studio.
Well, if he is alive, he couldn't get very far without those. Especially with that creature after him.
But do you think that Garth was after him? Or do you think that the fire reclaimed the Master of Dartmoor?
I don't know. And you don't know. None of us knows, and we probably never will know. And besides, I don't care.
Charles, you must continue to paint other portraits.
Look, for your information, some of the portraits that were destroyed in that fire I cared a great deal about.
And there was one particular portrait that someone else cared about, Charles.
We're back to the portrait of Quentin Collins, aren't we?
Do you have any idea if that portrait was here?
All right, I guess it's time to tell you the truth. I did steal the portrait. I stole it because I thought it would do me some good. Well, now it won't do me any good, or Quentin Collins.
Then it was here.
Yes, it was.
Then the next time the full moon.
The next time the full moon, you better stay away from Quentin Collins.
No, there has to be a way of stopping it from happening. Charles Tate promised to paint another portrait of Quentin Collins that night. But of course, he broke his promise.
I saw Charles Tate a few weeks ago, just before he died.
He'd been alive all that time.
Yes. Ironically, his death came at the hands of a werewolf.
Chris Jennings.
Yes. Chris tried to get Tate to paint a portrait of him just before the full moon. Tate failed. The werewolf killed him. But you were wrong about the original painting of Quentin. It wasn't burned in the fire. I have it now.
Where did you find it? Who had it?
Angelique. Angelique is happily married and has given up all her powers. She only agreed to give me the portrait after I promised that I would not involve her with the Collinses ever. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to hear more about your story.
Well, after he went back to the present, Lady Kitty found herself becoming more and more obsessed with the spirit of Josette. She went to the old house to plead with the portrait of Josette to release her from its spell. I found her there and I proposed to her. We agreed to marry that night. I left her and set out to make arrangements, certain that no harm could come to her. I promised to return as quickly as possible. Then I started for the old house again, for my rendezvous with Kitty. I was quite unaware of the agony she was going through.
Of course I'm upset. It's my wedding night. The night of my marriage to a man who's little more than a stranger. How long have I known him? Really? Oh, where is he? Why doesn't he get back here? It's our wedding eve. The eve of my wedding. And look how I'm dressed. I must find something more suitable. This will do.
No! This will do what she wants done. This will make me Josette Dupre forever. I can't put it on. I can't. Oh. Barnabas, where are you? I need you.
Hurry, Barnabas, hurry. I must hurry and get ready. He's on his way. What am I doing? Why did I change my dress? I mustn't. I know I mustn't.
Kitty! Kitty! There was no way to hold Kitty back, Julia. The power of the portrait was too great. All I could do, Julia, was to hold on to Kitty and to follow wherever fate would lead us. As I was going through the portrait, I thought I knew what it meant. And then I realized that I was being taken back to even an earlier time, to the year 1797. It was the day Josette was to die on Widow's Hill. If only I had an opportunity to change history. And I did. I got to the hill in time and saved her. She was willing to go along with me, and I arranged to meet her that night. I was on my way through the woods, taking a path I'd taken countless times. This time it was different.
I should be at the road. What is that? Never seen that before. How is it possible? I took this path earlier tonight. This wasn't here. Where am I? What has happened to me? How can I be lost? Lost at Collinwood? I can't be. I am. I must get back to the path. Where's the path? Where is it?
That was the first time that I saw Oberon.
Who is Oberon?
Have you ever heard of the Leviathan people?
No.
Well, that's who they were. In a moment, there was a second hooded figure. They closed in on me and subdued me. They were unbelievably strong. I could do nothing to prevent them from drugging me. When I awoke some hours later, I found myself alone with Oberon. He told me what had happened.
What is it you want?
You have mastered the ability to transcend time. Through you, the Leviathans shall live again.
The Leviathans?
That is our name. Our race has been threatened by extinction. But it has been written in our book that there shall be a resurgence of our kind. We shall be blessed with a new leader who will marry one of your kind and bring forth a new breed.
I don't know what you're saying. Let's go to Josette.
No, Barnabas Collins. You shall not see Josette again until you have served us. You must take our seed with you, plant it, and nurture it in another time.
I must go to Josette.
You may not. She shall remain with us until you have served us. Do as we command, and you shall see Josette again. Disobey, and not only will Josette die, you shall spend all of eternity as a creature of the darkness. You see, we know all about your terrible secret. We know everything about you.
Where are you keeping Josette?
We will not tell you that. But she is safe as long as you serve us. Do you understand?
Yes.
You will go to the future. You will take the Leviathan box with you. You shall follow the rules as they are written in the great book. Soon a child will appear. His growth will be amazingly fast. You will guide him and teach him. You will preside over his wedding ceremony. You will never question or doubt what must be done in order to ensure our place in the world. Is that clear?
Yes. It is clear.
You will be asleep in a moment. When you wake, you will be our leader. We will pay homage to you. But you will always know that there is a terrible penalty for disobedience. You will not remember what that penalty is unless you force us to remind you. And if we must remind you, Barnabas, you will regret the day that we do.
After that, they did treat me as their leader. In fact, I was actually convinced that the feelings I had, the course I was taking, were right.
Strange box you brought back from the past.
The Leviathan box.
I remember it. And I remember hearing something inside it, as if someone was breathing.
Not someone, Julia. At that point, it was mere essence. It did not take form until the box was first opened by the Todds.
What about the Todds?
We needed someone to watch over the box. When the Todds opened it, they never were able to do anything, but only what was against their will.
And after that, the baby appeared in the antique shop.
If you could call it a baby, yes. The creature I brought back in that box is not human, Julia, although it is capable of taking human form. In its real form, it has grown at an alarming rate.
Then the baby and Alexander and Michael were really all the same child. The different names were only to explain its extraordinary growth.
That's right.
The upstairs room at the shop. That's where this thing is staying in its own true form.
Yes.
Barnabas, what kind of power does it have to kill the way it killed Paul Stoddard and the sheriff?
There's no adequate way of describing it to you. It resembles nothing ever seen before. It is incredibly hideous and evil. I don't even now understand the nature of its power. I only know that it paralyzes the human will.
There must be some way it can be destroyed.
If there is, I haven't found it. In its latest manifestation, Jeb Hawks is arrogant, ruthless, and cruel. He will stop at nothing to get what he wants. He has resisted my control, and I haven't even been able to fight him because of the power they have over me.
Barnabas, isn't it possible that they lied to you about holding Josette hostage?
Yes, but their other threat was not a lie, Julia. I tried to defy them once when the child Michael wanted to destroy you. I refused. They made me a vampire for one terrifying night, just to remind me of all the horrors I had once suffered, to warn me that I would stay that way if I did not follow orders.
Obviously, haven't followed orders. I'm still alive.
I found out later that killing is forbidden by the writings in their book. Jeb, however, ignores the book. Since he killed Paul Stoddard, no one is safe.
How are they supposed to deal with people who are against them?
They have the power to induce dreams. Dreams which will compel the people to adopt their way of thinking. However, not everyone is susceptible. You were one of the exceptions. But not Elizabeth, nor David, nor Amy.
They're part of this, too?
That's why I couldn't tell you all this at Collinwood. They're part of it, all right. And they are loyal because they have no real control over their actions and no knowledge of the consequences of what they are.
What are the consequences?
The person in the most immediate danger is Carolyn.
Carolyn? Why?
20 years ago, the Leviathans granted Paul Stoddard wealth and power unlimited for 20 years in exchange for his most valuable possession. A few months ago, when he came back, he realized what they meant by his most valuable possession. All of their activity had been in pursuit of this goal, to recreate the Leviathan race through a ceremony of marriage between Jeb and Carolyn. When that ceremony is complete, Carolyn will be completely transformed.
Into Jeb's true form, that thing in that room.
Yes.
Oh, my God, Barnabas, you can't let this happen.
Julia, I don't know how to stop it. I just don't know. Jeb he doesn't understand any kind of rules at all. He thought nothing of killing Paul Stoddard and the sheriff. He already has plans to dispose of you and Maggie and Amy. He is capable of bringing back to life those he's killed, you see. Julia, he could create an army of the dead.